New Orleans Saints come up short in the ball game on Sunday in the Dome. Mac Jones and the San Francisco 49ers come in with a host of their fans, it appeared. I had a couple friends that were at the game, said it was remarkable how many 49ers fans were in attendance, and San Francisco escapes. 26-21 was the final. Let me briefly do the pro sports thing, because all these guys are handsomely paid. Everyone who gets on the field is expected to perform at a high level, and losing is not going to be something that's acceptable in the grand scheme of things. You're out there to try to win the football game. The Saints have had opportunities for the last 2 weeks to win games, and they haven't won them, and that's not a good thing. And when you look at the schedule and the way things are moving in the wrong direction, it can get really ugly really fast. This was a big game. The Saints had an opportunity to win. It would have been really good for their psyche, and I think everyone overall for them to get it. I don't think they're going to Seattle and winning. Don't think they're going to Buffalo and winning, and then you really need to get on the right page in the next couple of weeks because you've got some winnable games at home, but it feels like it could slip away. That's the most important thing when you talk about professional sports. You got to win games. But I think all of us are aware of where the Saints are right now. And so I am going to look at some positives that's going to sound like a moral victory, going to sound like, you're not paying attention to the right things, but we understand where the Saints are right now. When you make a trade on Saturday for a guy that can't play this year, I think it's pretty evident that you're looking towards the future, right? So let's just agree that trading for Polk, who's on IR, they got an eye on the future. And I'm going to have an eye on the future as I watch this team. And I had an eye on the future watching this team yesterday. And I'll say this. I liked what I saw from Spencer Rattler yesterday. I liked it. Yes, he's got to hit that throw to Olave for a touchdown on that first drive. Like he's wide open, breaks free, great route. The throw was a little bit early and it was a little bit behind him. And Olave doesn't make the catch. I heard Hester and Flynn talking this morning. He's got to make that catch. He's a pro football number one. I'm not going to argue with him on that at all. I think it's reasonable that he can catch that ball. But I know that the ball's got to be thrown better than that. It's got to be out in front. And the guys admitted that as well. That's not a play you like. And you get the sack fumble, and that's a disappointing end to the game in that respect as well. But there was so much in the middle that was good. And, I've watched Spencer Rattler play a lot of football. Preseason football last year, starting some games for the Saints last year, preseason football this year, 2 games this year. You're now starting to get a sample size that's pretty big. And I didn't see squat last year or in the preseason that made me think, okay, that's pretty good. I have not been impressed at all. I was impressed with a lot of stuff yesterday. It was clearly his best effort. You look statistically at it, and he set career highs in passing touchdowns. He had 3 of them. In passer rating, 118. In completion percentage, 74%. And I thought some highlight reel plays. I mean, he dropped it in the bucket to Shaheed for that one-handed catch down the left sideline. I liked the ball placement on the throw to Juwan Johnson for that turning touchdown in the corner of the end zone. Really good throw on a 3rd down. How about the 3rd and 6th play when they're in 49ers territory in the second quarter, and he gets hit at about the 4-yard mark and just battles through and gets that first down on the ground. I thought that showed toughness, athleticism. Thought that was really, really good. I loved the throw to Veli for the touchdown on 1st and goal. That's exactly the role that you brought him in to play, the big physical shield, the defender body in the red zone that they didn't have. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are going to struggle to make that play. But Vele is 6'4", and he can go in and shield the guy off and make the catch. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about putting these young quarterbacks, in this case it's Rattler individually, in a position to be successful with pieces around them. You want the best ecosystem possible for these guys to develop. And for the first time I saw yesterday, Spencer Rattler looked like he was in command. I thought he was decisive. I thought his arm looked strong. I thought he was accurate for most of the day. I thought he moved the football. I thought there was a lot of really good stuff. He's got trouble on the interior offensive line, and the running game's not exactly what you would like it to be, even though Kamara's running hard. Miller looks better than he has. The positive for me in this game was that Rattler kind of looked the part of an NFL quarterback. And nobody is suggesting in September of this year that he needs to look like an MVP. But you need to see improvements. I saw improvements yesterday. I really did. And I thought there was a good chance they were going to go down and get it done. I really did. They looked good offensively in the second half. So that's a lot of positive on the offensive side, especially Rattler. The defense stunk. It was just bad. They let McCorkle Jones, shout out Jacob Hester for consistently referring to him as McCorkle, but they let Jones throw for 279 and 3 scores. I thought there were guys running open too often. They don't have George Kittle, who's their safety blanket. Juwan Jennings is a little bit gimpy. He comes up with 5 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. I just didn't think the defense played very well, specifically the secondary, and that is disappointing because you've got some young guys in that secondary that you really feel need to be hits on this team. And I knew that Kyle Shanahan would have a plan. I think he's one of the best offensive coaches in college football, but I thought that the Saints could affect Mac Jones a little bit more and maybe force some mistakes, and you just didn't really see that. They sacked him 3 times, but he didn't turn it over, didn't throw an interception. The ball wasn't really in harm's way all that much. I wish you would have had Chase Young in this game to potentially impact things a little bit more. That's a guy that you really need to come back and to be maybe your best player on defense. But I'm disappointed that the Saints, with the backup quarterback out there, allowed the 49ers to go score those 26 points. I thought that I thought more of the Saints defense, and you start to look at this and realize, like, there's just not a guy on this defense that you look at as just an impact guy and a star. I hesitate to say that about Demario Davis because of his track record, what he's meant to that team, the position he plays and how well he plays it. And he's clearly their most productive guy. He had 1 billion tackles in week 1. He had 11 more yesterday. And at his best, he was an all-pro and one of the best linebackers in the sport. And he's not significantly less than that right now. But when you think about the best defensive players in the league and the impact that those guys can have, I just don't know that you look at anybody on this Saints team in that light. Chase Young could be, but he's not playing. And so you start to look across the rest of the line, and like Devon Gottschall was their worst graded player on PFF yesterday. Brian Brzee is a great athlete, a good pass rusher. Is he great stopping the run? I don't know about that. Carl Granderson, okay. But then
Carl Granderson's been really good. I mean, he had 2 sacks in this game. And
he did.
He had a sack and a half in the first. He's currently got 3.5 sacks in 2 games. He's good.
He's good. Where would you rank him as far as pass rushers in the NFL?
Yeah, that's the
15th.
He's probably
18th,
not in the top 10, but
you need stars. And I'm looking at a lot of the young players that they've got, and I'm looking at Alontae Taylor, who made a couple plays, had a really nice play breaking up a ball in the middle of the field. It's not that there's never a play. There's just not enough of them. And I don't see stars on that Saints team the way that when you look at other teams in the NFL, you just immediately notice their stars. And if Carl Granderson is your best player, like, he's a good player. Is he a star? I don't know about that. So it's not all positive, but it's not all completely negative either. Let's hope they can tread water the next 2 weeks and don't get just completely outclassed away from the Dome. But I think for me, when I look at this organization where they are, when I look at this team, I look at a team, I thought there were some strides made offensively yesterday, and I'm not going to completely dismiss those, even though calling for moral victories in professional sports is absurd. But we're analyzing the team. I thought that there was some really good stuff from Spencer Rattler yesterday, and hopefully there's more. Something
to note, too, after a really good preseason and training camp, Blake Grupe has missed 2 field goals.
Yeah.
And, these are both close games. If he makes that field goal, which was in the first half, at the end of the game there, you're only down 2 or 3 points. So then you can kick a field goal instead of having to go for the touchdown. So you need Blake Grupe to make those field goals.
No doubt. And here's where I am on that. If you have your kicker of the future in Blake Grupe and he's here for 12 more years, that's awesome because that's a key thing to have. How happy are they in Dallas with what they found as far as a kicker goes? That's a big deal, and he's so young that it could be that. Kicker's 50th on my checklist.
Dude. Yeah.
It just so here's the deal. I fully endorse the fact that he's missed very makeable kicks in the first 2 weeks has significantly impacted the Saints' ability to win these games.
That's true.
Absolutely. I don't think they're going to win enough to where that's going to matter. So I'm not ranting and raving and throwing a fit. If you're a playoff team and your kicker's botching these kicks We saw Sean Payton run guys out of town just minutes after games, it seemed like. And I endorse that. Grupe needs to be better. He needs to be better, hopefully, for his career as a Saint as opposed to this team. I'm looking at young players improving far more than I'm looking at, hey, you can go get a kicker off the scrap heap. Grupe's got to, I mean, if he keeps going the way he's going, he's going to lose his job. But you're correct. Like that has absolutely impacted their ability to try to win these games late. And they've been in position. They've just got to find a way to make a couple plays later. And they just didn't quite get it done on Sunday. So Ross has got some great stuff up at the LouisianaSports.net. Right now, I got a breakdown of the Saints trade. Also, got the news that Vernon Broughton is out for the year. He's going on IR, having surgery. So that's the draft pick that the Saints brought in that hasn't really practiced at all, that will not be a part of this team this year. So that's disappointing, no question about it, when you think about the importance of the draft for the New Orleans Saints, and not having him to be able to play at all as a rookie is a disappointing development for sure. But all your Saints coverage, LouisianaSports.net. You can also find it Hunt on Saints wherever you find your podcasts. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.